Good. Hey, we're live. It's a good thing I didn't have my head filter back. Start off with a big screenshot of me with my nostrils. That's nice. And we're live.
And we're live. Welcome back.
We're live.
Welcome back to another Corona Geek, where we talk about cross-platform app development using Corona SDK. I'm your host, Charles McKeever, and today we've got a fun panel. Dr. Burton is joining us from down in Abilene. He's got a brand new MacBook and can't figure out his audio.
He's got a timeout. He's been put in a corner and told to be quiet. Be quiet.
Yeah, but you can find his stuff at burtonsmediagroup.com if you want to hear from him. Also joining us is Ed Marina from roaminggamer.com. Joining us is Sergey from spiralcodestudio.com, and Stephen Johnson is joining us from zabalbastudios.com.
See how I didn't do it this time?
I know you didn't do it. I was waiting for it. I even paused. I gave you an opening. So so we were just sitting here talking about drive-ins and good old days and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff like that. But you know what? I think we need to talk about desktop app development now.
Yeah. Hey.
Or at least let everybody know that we've done 8 videos already on desktop development, which if you go over to youtube.com/coronageek, there is a playlist created that has all of those in it, and you can go back and watch everything from working with mouse and keyboard inputs to setting up your project to adding assets onto the screen, making characters move around, and then the latest videos that we did were we did a part 1 and a part 2 of shooting weapons and killing zombies, which I've taken to labeling vector math kills zombies.
Vector math kills more than zombies.
Kills brain cells too.
The whole world shakes here when I laugh. I'm like Santa Claus over here. Oh, 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 the whole thing. Oh my gosh.
Well, at least it's not a Southern California or Northern California or California quake. Yeah.
It's been 10 years since we had an earthquake over here. I don't want another one.
Do you actually get any of that when they have earthquakes?
We had an earthquake back in '96, something like that, up in DuPont, Washington, and we felt it down here in Oregon. It was quite surprising because I wasn't used to feeling ground movement here in Oregon, and it was significant enough to rock the buildings. So,
interesting.
Yeah, I've been through a number of earthquakes, but it's kind of when you expect earthquakes, it's no big deal. But when you're someplace where you don't expect one, your brain says, "Well, what the heck is that? Is that an earthquake? What else is happening? Did something blow up? What's going on?"
Wow. Yeah, I've never experienced anything like that, and actually it's on my bucket list.
I got stories.
Hey, does anybody have any announcements before we get started today, before we do tiled backgrounds and terrain and stuff?
No.
No? Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, I will say that on Friday I went into the PERC office and sat down with Raj, co-founder and presidente of PERC. And
is that how he prefers to be called, as presidente?
That's just the way I do it.
That's not a good start. Don't do that.
No. So we sat down for 2 hours. We recorded, talked and stuff, and we recorded 45 minutes of Q&A from the community, questions that people have asked, things that they have been asked in the forums, things that have been mentioned on comments and on Reddit and everywhere. So that should be coming out hopefully this week. I got to get with the videographer. They have a videographer on staff, if I hadn't said that already. He brought in lighting and lapel mics and cameras and all this kind of stuff and set it up and recorded the whole thing. So it went well. I think it's going to be something you're going to enjoy, and I think the videographer, I'm pretty sure he's going to split it up into clips that are going to be easy to consume. So, yes, it's going to be a 45-minute interview, but it'll be broken down into, fun size clips so that everybody can get the answers that they're interested in.
They come in little colored wrappers?
I always think of like Snickers and stuff like that when I'm saying that. Snack size, fun size, all those, yeah.
Fun size. The thing is with Snickers and those other candy bars, when they call them fun size, they should call that rip-off size, because you're not getting much candy in there. I don't know what's fun about that.
Well, see, I like them because I can either eat 1 Snickers or I can eat 20 fun size
It's almost like having a whole Snickers. Almost.
Right. It's like donut holes. You know, you could eat one donut, or you could have a box of donut holes. So,
Okay, that might be a bit excessive.
oh well.
For a guy who runs 5 miles a day, that's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So hey, since we don't have any more announcements, I think that's pretty much it. The only other thing I can say is that tvOS is being worked on. Asset catalogs are being implemented. Things like plist settings are being worked on. Stuff for iCloud, because the way tvOS works, it doesn't really have a whole lot of local storage. So there's some iCloud requirements that are necessary. Also, beta for OS X. Working on getting it out of beta, getting it into 1.0. Also working on Win32, getting it from beta into 1.0. So a lot of stuff is on the edge of going 1.0, getting out of beta, which if you've seen some of the comments here lately, people are kind of like, hey, you're working on all this beta stuff, and you haven't pushed it live, and you're spreading yourself too thin, and some legitimate comments, but just for those who sound like that, they can know that we're moving it to 1.0 as soon as possible.
Somebody's been watching a little bit of too much of Good Morning Vietnam there, buddy.
No, I was thinking about the Muppets. It's the Muppet Show!
No, I thought it was that character from Good Morning Vietnam.
Yeah, look at Bry. Bry's covering his face. He's like, oh my.
It's hot and wet! With a little bit of shitty and rainy! Okay, that's my only bad word, sorry. Bleep that out. Oh, well. You gotta watch the show, though. You gotta watch it.
Well, it's contextually relevant, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about terrain.
Okay, before I get started, you made the point of mentioning that we've had 8 shows. Is that actually correct? We've had 8 shows?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. That's what I said.
All right. So if we've had 8 shows, then I would estimate at this point, and I know this is sort of leaning forward a bit, but I would estimate that we're going to finish up this series by around 10 or 11 shows. So this is the 9th, and today we're going to cover quite a number of things rapidly, but the reason I'm going to do that is I want to push people to look at the code without digging in too deep, because I think people will get more out of it by a brief overview and seeing what it does, and then digging in and manipulating it, changing it. And also, some of the things that I'm going to cover today are not redundant, but they are things we've done in prior shows. Things with HUDs, things with, well, mostly things with HUDs. That's a lot of what we're going to talk about mid-show today. And then the terrain stuff, which we're going to finally talk about. I got that working, pseudo, but as you'll see, I'm not happy with the result, in that the source material that I'm using uses a very complicated algorithm for, it's complicated to me because I haven't figured it out. Anything I haven't figured out yet, that's complicated. So it's complicated in the sense that I have not figured it out, but the code is there, and I would strongly encourage people who maybe have a different mindset from me to take a look at it and see if they can't figure out how to make this more beautiful. So